We are here on another episode of Talk of the County. This is one that I've been waiting for weeks. To talk fashion, to talk style, to talk swag. This is going to be a fun episode of Talk of the County, I guarantee you. I'm here with Yogi Terrell, the CEO of Warhol Wall St, and the director of the Columbus Fashion Alliance.
What's up? What's going on?
This guy wears many titles. This guy is one of the freshest, dopest dudes in Franklin County, and he's bringing up the next generation of swag here in Franklin County. You can talk New York, you can talk San Francisco. Pretty soon, Columbus is gonna be right there, right on them.
Right.
We chasing down the big dogs because we ain't scared at all.
Nope.
And we got some ambitious young people with some cool brands. I'm surrounded by some cool stuff that is original. That's what's cool about it. Mm-hmm. It's original and it's authentically Franklin County and Columbus. It's what I expect when we're talking about the 14th largest city in the country and one of the largest counties in the nation and the largest county in Ohio, Franklin County. We are always punching above our weight in anything we do. And we are winners here. All those that follow the Buckeyes know this. And those that follow the Columbus Crew, the MLS champions, we are a county of winners. And therefore fans have the expectation of winning. And they turn out when you win, and they cheer when you win, and they support winners. So Yogi, let's talk a little bit about your background and what led you to become the director of the Columbus Fashion Alliance. This was not an easy endeavor, I'm sure, and you had to dare to do this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've been, engaged in the city and doing things around Franklin County for years now. Whether it was, in media, I had my own online magazine for a while called Flypaper, which was a platform for young urban creatives. I went to radio. I started a marketing firm, Warhol Wall St. We've been running that 14 years now. I've always been engaged with the city. And so all of that was before fashion. I'm a strategist at heart. I love building community. I love bringing people together. So when I learned that Columbus was the third largest fashion industry in the country, instantly I thought of a couple things. One, that's a big opportunity that I don't think that our city was tapping into, but also knowing that if we're the third largest fashion industry, that's a huge opportunity for us to create some economic development. So as a strategist, I became obsessed with fashion. Like, I don't have my own brand. I'm not a designer or anything like that. I am just an entrepreneur and a strategist. And so I look at it from the entrepreneurial perspective, right? And I look at it from an economic development perspective. And so I think that's what gave me the passion to embrace it, because I didn't have a bone in the fight. I wasn't trying to do something for myself in that instance. I said, here's an opportunity for me to use my strategy skills and my passion for fashion, because I do love a nice little fit every now and then, you know what I'm saying? But being able to bring those kind of worlds together, right. I was like, this seems like the challenge that I want to take on. And it has not been easy, right? Because it is economic development at scale, but you have to start at the foundation, which we can talk about. But here we are, we're moving into it, like you said, full steam ahead. And it's about doing it together as a Franklin County, as a city of Columbus and all the partners in the county. It's about us doing it together and creating opportunity. So that's kind of how I landed here, man.
And it's also about having the courage to do things during times of great adversity.
Yes.
One of our partnerships was masks during the peak of the pandemic, when we all had to cover our faces.
That's right.
And even you all took that opportunity to say you can still cover your face and have fashion blended into that.
Yeah, do it in style, right?
And also provide an opportunity for entrepreneurs to work on their craft,
Right.
making masks. And the county was able to partner with you on that.
Man, you know what was so special about that is because we had just got started. We had just got started in 2020, right? And so our first mixer per se was going to be March 19th of 2020. And I was like, we were getting calls that week before, like people were calling us like, hey, are y'all still going to do that networking event? And we're like, no, I think we're going to cancel that. But once COVID hit, you know, in the beginning, we were thinking, okay, what are we going to do, right? We were just getting started, and then we saw, you know, that there was an immediate need for masks. And what I loved about partnering with the county was that initially we sourced a bunch of different companies that make masks, like anybody who could sew or any company that was making apparel. We went to them and said, hey, can you make, you know, 10,000 masks, 15,000 masks? But what we found is that a lot of individuals and sewers of color they couldn't pass the requirements needed to qualify to be able to get some of those contracts. And so, you know, partnering with the county allowed us to specifically focus on reaching out to all of those people of color who could sew, you know, 100 or 500 masks from their home. And so we engaged 20 different creatives and sewers from Columbus and Franklin County, and they created another like 30,000 masks. But we did it in style though. So we worked with like 5 designers, and each of those designers of color created a different style of mask. And that just goes to show you that that in a time where people were trying to figure out what's next and they needed money and they needed support, we were able to help solve a problem for health and safety while still giving people an opportunity to make a living. And so that was a great, what I call it, like a proof of concept, stamp of approval. Like this initiative could have more than just impact to designers. It could literally have impact in our city, in our Franklin County, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, people like originality. You know, I'm a big car person. So everybody, you know, want something about their car to make it a little bit different than the next car at the lot. Yeah. You want it to reflect you in some kind of way.
Put that matte
and
finish on it.
You know, everybody, you know, same goes with shoes. Everybody want their shoe to be a little bit different. That's why, you know, people, you know, custom design their shoes. They want their shoes to be different. They want the laces to be different.
Right.
You know, talk about what personal experiences and influences have shaped your vision for the fashion industry here in Columbus. But you have something in common with LeBron James, don't you?
Oh yeah,
Where you come from?
Yeah, so I'm from Akron, you know what I mean? And so, you know, Akron in the house. I'm from Akron, and, you know, coming from Akron, I'm glad you brought that up. This is really one of the personal reasons that this made sense to me, is that I grew up in Akron, kind of the same type of environment LeBron grew up in. Like, I grew up in the projects, on welfare, living in poverty. I went to 5 different elementary schools because we didn't have a lot of money, so my mom would literally find a home. We would try to stay in it. Every like 18 months we had to move. So literally I was bouncing from side of town to side of town, going to food pantries, things like that. And so growing up, one of the things I understood is that as a young kid, is that whatever you wear was very important. And if you went to school and you had bummy clothes on, you got teased in school. And so like fashion goes beyond just, you know, looking stylish. It's like a form of like protection and pride. And knowing how important that was, it's like, even if I don't have the money, if I can look like it, I can feel like I can get through life, right? So fashion has a bigger meaning to us. And so me growing up, going through all of that, and I remember my dad, and I wanted some Jordans, bro. This is funny. I wanted some Jordans back in the day, and we was so broke. My dad bought me the knockoff Jordans, and it was called Hoops. No, Hoops. I didn't remember that, bro.
Oh my God.
They was called Hoops, man. Hoops. They look like Jordans, but they wasn't quite Jordans, man. And my dad got them to me, and I remember crying, and I was like, man, I can't wear these. I
can't go outside with the hoops.
You know what I'm saying? I can't go outside with the hoops on, and it was that fashion. It was that important because it made or break you. And so understanding that, when I saw this opportunity, I said, here's a chance for us to do something different in this county, because if we're one of the few cities and few counties that actually has this opportunity in fashion to have this ecosystem, then that's another thing that can help youth and underserved communities find a pathway, because we already know it's important to them. So now every young person that we talk to, we're like, hey, do you know fashion is here? And they're running with it right now. You know what I'm saying? So me personally, that's kind of how it means a little bit more to me.
Coming up is, that members only jacket.
Yeah,
the jacket had to say members only. It couldn't look like a members only jacket.
You couldn't just get away with
If it didn't say members only, you had no credibility. Don't even put it on. Don't even put the jacket on.
Right, you were not a member.
Members only.
You're not a member.
Yeah, you ain't doing it.
Right.
Starter jackets, all of that thing. I mean, you could like a kid in the neighborhood, they have a starter jacket on with a t-shirt under there, but it didn't matter. As long as it's a real starter jacket. I couldn't get the shirt, but
I got the jacket.
I got a t-shirt on under.
I got the jacket,
That was, you're right. Fashion is just like so much of a person's identity, and it's through how they look.
Yeah, and it gives you that confidence. And like I said, even if you don't have a lot of money, you had that starter jacket on, you could move that day. You was feeling good that day. You know what I'm saying? You went to school proud that day. And so to me, I'm like, this is a huge opportunity for us to create here in this county, because you can't do that in every other city. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of kids, especially in underserved communities, they think sports, they think music and entertainment, or they think the streets. If they're not going to college, right? So there's only 4 or 5 things that people look towards to say, okay, I can do these things, but now we have another one. And that's what we're really exploring, is that we are in a unique position in this county to create another pathway that could benefit people in that manner,
Great people tend to be trendsetters. You take Michael Jordan. Right. He changed the way individuals looked when they went out on the court to play basketball. Everyone wore short shorts until Michael Jordan made it cool to wear the longer shorts.
Right.
Everybody kind of had that, Kareem with the goggles. Everybody, you got everybody, Jerry Rice had this quote, great Jerry Rice. He said, if you don't look good, you don't play good.
Right.
So he always came out. Towel is in the same place laying on his pants. Socks pulled up. Everything had to be right because had that mentality. If you don't look good, you don't play good.
That's funny that you bring that up, because you bring another point to the table, is that we culturally influence fashion. People of color influence fashion culturally. We lead the trends culturally, right? And so for us, knowing that a Jordan can make people wear long shorts instead of short shorts. Michael Irvin is going to put the towel on this side, which creates a whole new trend, right? So it's that teach you how to fish mentality of like, if we have the knowledge in our county, we have the knowledge of the brands that are here, if we can teach people the game, because we already know they influence it, we already know that they set the trends, now you're creating that next wave of entrepreneurs, that next wave of global influence, and that all could be, being birthed right here in Franklin County. You feel me? So that's another whole point to bring to it.
Yeah, you see all of the great athletes that I looked up to. Muhammad Ali, he would be combing his hair during the interview with Howard Cosell, talking about how pretty he was.
Right. I'm so pretty.
I'm so pretty. But he backed it up, though. He backed it up.
Right.
That's whether you in sports, business, entertainment, you are allowed to talk smack if you can back it up.
If you can back it up,
the truth
that's for sure.
About backing it up.
Yeah. Exactly.
Talking the talk is easy. Walking the walk requires work, and that's what separates the winners from the losers.
Right.
Because you can see through the talk those that aren't willing to work. Podcast listeners, remember that. Talk is cheap. Work counts.
It does. Right. I always say something too. My mantra is that I never invite people to the groundbreaking. I invite them to the ribbon cutting. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, you can talk, but there's a lot that happens in between you talking about it and it actually being done. You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather tell you what I did instead of what I'm going to do. You know, I learned that lesson yeah, throughout my years.
Because the success happens the mornings when nobody's looking, the evenings when nobody's watching. That's how success is created.
Man.
People don't normally think of fashion when it comes to Columbus, like I laid off. But how did it become an area of focus for you? And when you think about it, it's like, how was it a secret when some of the biggest companies, apparel-wise, have Columbus roots?
Yeah, you know, I'm glad you brought that up. And you know, serving on the Great Experience Columbus board, which I'm glad to serve with you as well.
We enjoyed it.
Serving on that board gave me an opportunity to see, you know, just how much, like, even culture impacts our economy here. And when we look at, you know, how many people are coming to Columbus, what do they know about Columbus? We are constantly looking at, how is Columbus pulsing outside of the city? How is Franklin County pulsing outside of the county? How do people know about us? And a lot of that is tied to culture. You know what I'm saying? And so what I think we have a great opportunity to do with fashion here is really use it. And I think, you know, we have, here's a great analogy. I was telling somebody this the other day. I said, what if there was 10 NFL teams in Columbus, right? What if Columbus was blessed to have 10 NFL teams, yet there wasn't high school football, yet there wasn't Little League football? It wouldn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? And that's literally like what we have when it comes to fashion and retail. We have some of the biggest names in the world in global fashion. You talk about Abercrombie, you talk about Hollister, you talk about Victoria's Secrets, you talk about Bath and Body Works, you talk about DSW, you talk about Justice. They're all here, right? You got some of the world's greatest designers sitting next to you at the restaurant, but you just don't know about it. And so for decades, when the mall was like the social media, you know, we get up on a Saturday, you know what I mean, get fresh, and we go to the mall. That was our social media back in the day. So back then, you know, when you go to the mall, whatever was in that store was what you saw. And I think for years, Columbus was just really good at the business of fashion, right? We've had multiple phases. You know, back in the 70s, Columbus was the biggest manufacturer of shoes. So children's shoes, women's shoes, we were a huge manufacturer of shoes, leading all the way up to like 73 or 74. But in between then, we also were a big, huge manufacturer of like women's apparel and dresses. And then we were also well known for the Lazarus family, you know, starting like, you know, big box retail stores. So before the first Victoria's Secrets, before L Brands, we were already a factor in the industry. And so we've had these, you know, this history for years. It's in our DNA.
Right.
And so now that you have this 10 NFL teams of fashion, right, we have to create those programs like the equivalent of a high school football, the equivalent of, you know, community centers for fashion, because we have the knowledge here, right? And so that knowledge is, we're trying to bring that knowledge out of the suburbs, out of the big boxes in New Albany, bring it down to the core,
and
to the people.
It's got to be unique.
And it's got to be unique.
It's got to be unique, because anybody can go online and buy a pair of blue slacks.
Right.
But shopping has to be an experience. You got to have something different to draw people into a store. They had to have a feeling. They had to leave with a feeling, you know.
Yeah.
You walk into a luxury dealership, it's a vibe.
It's an experience.
If they successful, it's you know. You're buying a Mercedes, or you buying a Lamborghini, or you buying a Bentley. They gonna treat you a certain way. It's an experience.
Yeah, for sure.
And you leave there writing a big check, but you feeling good about it.
Yeah.
It's all about an experience. And you know, sitting around this is an experience. You know, this is not walking into Old Navy.
Right.
It's not like walking into, you know, just a store. It's an experience. No knock on Old Navy. Old Navy serves a purpose. You want to go in there, you want to grab what you want to get.
At a good rate, good price. Yeah.
Yeah, but you want an experience when you come into certain places. And fashion is a lot about experience.
Big facts. Fashion is all experience. It's a real cultural experience. And that is what we look forward to building here, is that taking it out of, just the big box retail sector and looking at it from what's the next generation doing? Because like you said, we built this space. So gallery, right? This is another great example of our partnership with Franklin County. Is we wanted to create a space that was more than just, I want to buy merchandise. We wanted to create a cultural experience because we know that is what people want nowadays, right? They're not flocking to malls just to buy clothes. They want to have a shopping experience now. They're going to more boutiques. People are shopping in more boutiques because they love the personal approach to it. And so we create a gallery to be a slower experience, a more artistic experience, and a better way to highlight local brands of color. And so we love what we built here. And even though we've only been open up a couple of months now, it's starting to really pick up as a cultural hub. So you're right about that.
It's not like you can just expect the clothes to sell themselves.
Sales, right.
The music matters.
Yeah.
That's why, successful stores, they got the right music because it's a vibe. It's just a feeling that you need to get you to spending money.
Right.
Because if you're like me, when I'm with my daughters and my wife, they be like, "You're not having fun?" I'm like, "No, I'm not having fun right now." Because I'm thinking about how much we spending. So
Right,
I had to have some music in my head or something to be inspired while I'm spending money, because I'm just not naturally, is this fun? No, I don't know about that.
You're right. It's the lifestyle, right? It's the lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's I think that's what makes people buy clothes nowadays, is that they feel like they're part of that community. They're part of that lifestyle. Like you said, you go to the Mercedes dealer, they gonna treat you nice. You know what I'm saying? They gonna give you some water.
Say, you want distilled water?
Sparkling. Right.
Sparkling water.
Sit down in this leather chair while we, bring and wash the car for you. That's appealing to you. And then when it's your wife and daughter, like you said, it's a different. You ain't having fun because that's their lifestyle.
Yeah. I'm at the dealership. Show me how many different colors that car turn on the inside.
Yeah, right.
Ambient lighting. Yeah, that ambient lighting works for me.
Hey, that's crazy though, man. That's crazy now. That's crazy.
I like me some ambient lighting.
I know that good vibes. I can tell, kid, you like the vibes.
I had to get in this car and drive to a job for 10 hours. I need that to be a pleasurable experience. The worst thing you can say to me is a car just an object to get you from point A to point B. I'm like, What are you saying? It's much more than that.
It's an experience. Yeah, I ain't got to that. I ain't got to the point where I got the ceiling with all the lights and all that stuff.
You know what, Yogi? I've reached the age where I value the simple things.
Yeah.
I value my mattress,
Facts.
my television, and my vehicle, and a nice meal or two in between. It gets real simple.
I feel it, man.
It gets real simple.
That's crazy about the mattress thing, because that's a real thing nowadays, boy. I think after a certain age, I don't think when I was young, I didn't care about my mattress, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and I can't tell you what mattress I sleep on, because I don't know if we got the right copyright approval. So I had to be careful when I mention brands. But I would to give a shout out for the mattress I got. Make my life much better post 50.
I love it.
So I'm all about fashion. Fashion is, back to the point, is that fashion, music, and you got a lot of shirts here that say fashion is art, and that's a theme here, and you actually have art in here.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this dope graphic here that I'm looking at with the what's the original?
Rosie?
Yeah,
Rosie the Riveter. Yeah.
That's like
this is our
super
original
cool
concept.
I like that.
This was inspired by the county. As you can see, it has the county board of commissioners, graphic on it. This was inspired by the county because we know, one, the county being such a great partner to us, but we wanted to be able to do it in a way that it could be embraced by more people. And so we worked with a local artist named Aris Cohen. Super dope. Shout out to Aris. And we wanted to create something that represented workforce development, represented people of color, represented Franklin County, and this is what we created. And so this is one of our signature pieces that sells really well in the store. It does really well. And we put the mural here first, so when we take pictures, a lot of people take pictures right there, you know.
It's a real, and that leads me to my next question. What are the unique characteristics of Franklin County that make it an emerging hub for fashion? I know we have a lot of young people. We have a lot of we have the Columbus Art and Design School. We have you know, it's just kind of a feeling, and you know, we have our arts district, and art is important to the residents of Franklin County.
Yeah. So what's unique to Franklin County is that within Franklin County, you have, like you said, well, first you got the people, right? You have young creatives who are the next generation who are eager and hungry for an opportunity. You got that. Then you have the educational partners, right? So you got, like you said, CCAD, you got Ohio State that has a great fashion merchandising program. You got Hocking College, you have other schools here. But then you also have the retailers, right? Like I said, you got the NFL teams of the fashion and retail industry all headquartered here. And then you add on top of that, Columbus has the biggest logistics hub, and Franklin County has the biggest logistics hub in the country. And so a lot of the other brands have moved their distribution centers to Franklin County. So you look at The Gap, Lululemon, Flight Club, Shopify, Magnani Shoes. There's a bunch of different other brands who said, this is the best fulfillment and logistics hub. This county is where it's at. And so they move here. And then you have designers per capita. We're the third largest in designers per capita. 80% of international fashion flies through this county, right? So you have all of these pieces of the puzzle that are here. And our job is just to connect the dots. So my thing is, if I can connect the dots and show how, if we work this all together as a county, as a city, all of the partners in the industry, if we all come together, this is something that is authentically ours. But if we just connect the tissue a little bit stronger, we're off to the races. And so that's what there's no other city outside of New York and LA that has that. But one advantage that Franklin County has is that we're 1 hour flight away from 60% of the population, and we're a 6 hour drive from 60% of the population. So we could take advantage of that, and that could be our niche, is that, you know, small batch production, smart manufacturing, emerging brands, direct to consumer. Those are the ways that we could build economic opportunity in Franklin County, and we got all the puzzle pieces.
Other than access to capital, what are the biggest challenges facing local fashion designers and entrepreneurs?
The biggest thing is access. And I know, you know, from working with the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, that access is a big barrier that we're always trying to break down. There's, like I said, you have no shortage of talent that is ambitious and wants to be in it. But if you don't have the ecosystem, if you don't have, why don't we have fashion in the schools, right? We need fashion programming in the schools, start them off early. We need better opportunities to get into college, into post-secondary education. We also need the retailers to rethink the barriers, right? So like, to work in retail, you got to have a 4-year degree out the gate. But if you're a creative, do you really need retail? You could be a stylist, right? You can't teach style with a 4-year degree. You know what I'm saying? So we're looking at, you know, how do we create stronger pathways to it? And then also financial support, right? Like, there's a lot of people who could be the next big entrepreneur, but if they don't have access to capital, if they don't have, you know, grants and programs like the ones that we're creating to help them understand the professional side of it, then they never get that chance to do that. So I think those are some of the things that we need in the county to help everybody be able to start to find their path in this industry.
Give me some examples of how the Columbus Fashion Alliance has over time been able to support and promote these local emerging designers and fashion entrepreneurs.
Man, so I'll just start with from what we've did. So even our partnership with the county, here's what we've only been around 4 years. You got to think about that. It's 2020 to 2024. So in that short amount of time, one, like I said, we started with, providing people some economic opportunity just through making masks, right? And then moving forward, we started to, continue to grow that partnership, and we started to do things like create other programming for adults and programming for youth to help get them upskilled in things like sewing, graphic design, entrepreneurship. We created our first market and got our first few brands to market. We partnered with Easton and had our market for holiday in 2020, I believe that was 2022. And then since then, we've done partnerships with Swaco. We've done partnerships with Express, with Victoria's Secrets, with the Hilton. We designed all of the uniforms for the brand new Hilton here in the city. We've worked with Columbus Crew. We've worked with the Columbus Cap City Marathon. We work with Pelotonia. So we as a convener, because we don't do all of this stuff on our own, we're just the connector. So we've helped put hundreds of thousands of dollars right into the pockets of local entrepreneurs and local businesses in the county.
Funny you say this. I went to a local new restaurant that recently opened, and I sat down, had been there, they just opened, and I look at the guy who comes up and wait on me. I'm like, that's a really nice vest you got on. That's not thinking that it's original to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look around the rest of the restaurant and everybody else got the same
outfit.
Like, I thought I was crazy. What I'm telling him for, it looked good. He like, this what they gave me to wear,
yeah,
man.
thank you.
But he was nice about it. He said, oh, thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And I look around, I'm like, I guess everybody got this vest and pants outfit on. Nice outfit, though.
Yeah.
Nice outfit. Again, I can't say where I was at, but it was stylish. You may have designed it. I don't know.
It could be.
Good, man.
But that's what we want to do. We want to partner with all of our legacy brands and partners in the city. Like you said, it's all about the experience. So when you come to Franklin County, when you are at the restaurant and the hotel, like, man, they look good around here, right? Those are little things that we could do that can help support the local economy and also express that we're a county that is about fashion, right? Like, I think that's the biggest thing that we need to do is start being proud of what's in our DNA. Some people think, oh, because I'm not into fashion, that's for them. And it's like, no. Like, we should start reflecting throughout the county that this is who we are and be proud of that and be bold in that. And like you said, we're already winners, right? We're already hiring. Fashion is one of the top 5 industries in this county. And so you think about jobs it creates, attraction that it brings, all of those things, it's already in our DNA. I just think that we have to, I kind of equate it as like, when you're in school and you got the guy or the girl who sits in the back and they got the button all the way up, they got the glasses on, the tape around the thing, some Clark Kent type stuff, but if they just took the glasses off and let the hair down, what I'm saying, they'd be bad, you know what I mean? I think that's Columbus right now. I feel like we're in that space and we're finally starting to take our glasses off, finally starting to unbutton that top button and be like, this is who we are. This is what we are. This county is all about that.
Yes, Columbus, which is a new experience.
Yeah. I'm excited about that campaign too.
We living out loud in Columbus in a major way. And I think we gotta be more braggadocious about what we're doing and playing up our wins.
Exactly.
And not be afraid of embarrassment later by stumbling.
No. When you look at...
You stumble, just get back up.
Walk
it off.
But at least you're doing it. Man, at least you're in the game, and that's the thing. Is that one of the things that we notice is that when you look at other cities and what they're doing, right? When you look at, especially cities, being on Experience Columbus's, board, we often look at other cities that we compare, our cities to.
We're trying to beat them,
Yeah, we're trying to beat them.
Target 5.
Exactly, just Target 5.
Our coach here.
So we have to look at it and say, okay, is it going to be music? If we're going to be a music city, we're going to be a music county, then we got to bring the heat because you got St. Louis to compete with. You got Detroit, Motown City. You got, who else? Nashville, right? You got all these cities that are like entrenched in music, even Cleveland, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So if you're gonna be a music city, you got to step it up. If you're gonna be an art city, you got to step it up. But nobody can get with us when it comes to fashion.
We can never live with being average. And I think if
facts.
we're doing okay, you cannot have leadership in anything that's okay with being average.
Right, right.
And you can't just get comfortable either in your own individual prosperity.
Right.
You got to be committed to carrying others along.
Yeah.
Because just you doing well and your circle doing well is not enough for the collective.
No.
You know,
Yeah.
you know, one of my things is in government work and trying to promote programs like this, trying to promote youth. My objective is, it's not, you know, initially your first goal is in any community, you want everyone to eat sufficiently.
Mm-hmm.
My ultimate goal is, as long as I'm doing this type of work, to be a part of something about everybody eating well.
Right. Right.
That
right.
should be the bodacious objective of everybody.
Exactly.
In anything we do. But when you settle for being average, you can't spread average out there far.
No. And you made a great point there too, Ken, is that, you know, it's not about you just doing enough, right? I want to see you just do good for yourself. If I see you do well, I know you'll be able to impact other people's lives. And so that's how we feel about it. If we can help create that next generation of entrepreneurs, like, and we're starting with the young people, right? So like, we start with them because we know if every year we're bringing 50 to 100 young individuals into this community, 5-10 years from now, what do we have, right? Now you got, you know, if a handful of them become the next entrepreneurs in this industry, they're going to headquarter those, you know, businesses right here in Franklin County. They're going to hire people right here in Franklin County. They're going to create economic impact right here in Franklin County. So like what we're trying to do is, like you said, see everybody do great. How can we help you do great? How can we take this knowledge and help you be that next big thing, whether it's design, innovation, sustainability, you know, logistics, whatever it is in this ecosystem. If we can help you be great, then you're going to hire people. You're going to create economic impact in your own community.
I like to stare down complex problems and put them in a simplistic fashion.
Okay.
It's really not enough to teach the youth how to hunt or fish, whichever analogy you use. Because otherwise, they just program, they go to the pond each day, they throw the hook in, and they get some fish, they take them out, they eat them, they go back the next day. At some point, if they don't know how to create an ecosystem where the fish gonna reproduce themselves and how they need to plant some vegetables on the side, it's not sustainable.
Yeah, that's a good fact.
It's not. You gotta create an ecosystem in anything to where it's sustainable.
Right.
It can't just be about doing the same redundant thing.
I like that. I like that take on that. I never thought about it like that. I like that though. You're right, because you can just go and you can learn how to fish, which is great because you can eat.
You're gonna eat.
You can eat. But how are you going to grow that, right? You can eat a lot more and help other people eat too if you got a good system in place.
If you create a sustainable system where there's more fish so others can come in and enjoy that same pond.
Right. Then you can focus on the sides.
Because if you got no game plan to assist in the reproduction, you gonna only be able to be like, you see others show up in the pond, you gonna be like, no. And that's why some people fear diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, because they feel like it is a limited supply, and they see DEI as something that's gonna shrink the supply, and they're gonna get less of something.
Yeah, I don't know what we need to do, but we need to combat that narrative because it's a very dangerous narrative right now. You know, there's a lot of opportunity out there for everybody, right? But if we look at it as a place of scarcity, like you said, if we look at it as a place for, well, there's only enough of this for only a few of us, so I have to block out everybody else, right? You're actually pouring gas on the problem. You know what I'm saying? And I think we need to really flip that, how we frame that up to say, we do have a ton of opportunity out here. And actually, there's no threat in DEI. There's actually a benefit. How do we position the benefit of diversity, right? Because if you got, the studies have been done already. If you got diverse people at the table, then your outcomes are always better. Like that's been proven over and over.
Different experiences, right? It's
been proven over and over. But for some reason, the fear creates these systems that people put in place to block that out, or they fight against it, or they resist it. But the proof is in the pudding, and I think we need to keep pushing that narrative. Is that your competitiveness as a county depends on diverse people at the table.
Right, because you're gonna lose at the end of the day if you want to think that you as an individual is the smartest person in the room, and because you at the top, you cannot uplift and produce other leaders.
Right.
You're gonna lose. You got to be able to allow other people to grow, other people to prosper, other people to shine.
Yeah.
And you can't be insecure as a leader. And it's easier said than done for many, because they struggle with that whole part about uplifting others, because they see that, hey, they might be after my job, so I don't want them to be too successful. I want them to be successful enough to make me look good. Yeah. That's the wrong type of leadership.
Right.
It exists.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I need you to do good enough to make me look good, so that whom I report to, they tell me how great I am.
I look right.
And I don't talk about nobody else involved in the process.
Yeah, that's not a good leader there. You know what I mean? That's not good leadership right there. That's not good leadership.
He they great because of me. Now come on now. That's all ego. We all know that ain't true.
Yeah, that's
and
all
anybody
ego.
That's buying that,
Yeah. You going on
it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. So let's get back to I talked to some of the youth before we started here, and they shared with me how important this program is, because it gives them a avenue to do what they wanted to do anyway, but they wouldn't have had the exposure and the mentorship and to be able to cultivate it, what they're doing, the youth that are in this program.
You know, a lot of young people, if they're in this creative space and they're interested in fashion, there's a couple things that happen. We talk to them about it. We see it. Either they think that they have to move to LA or New York, right? And you see it in videos and stuff. When you think about fashion, you think about those two markets. And they want to move to LA or New York because they just want to be around other people that they feel like are like them. And so that's why when you go to New York, you see so much creativity and so many of the other young creatives all together, because they have found their tribe and they know if I want to be in this space, I need to go there. But what we're seeing is that we have all of that talent here, and we can keep them here because we're building this kind of culture around them. And so for us, we look at it as like year over year, when we talk to them, the things that they say to us is that, in my school, I thought I was a weirdo. In my school, I thought I was like a standout, right? Mm-hmm. Because I like to dress this way, or I like to make my own scarves, or I like to do this. And what we always see is that when we bring them in these rooms together and they meet each other, they're like, oh, I didn't know you was into this too? Oh, you crochet too? And then next thing you know, you see these like lifelong bonds that are forming. And again, we look at this as a long game. We know economic development is a long game. Mm-hmm. And so we see that every year over year, this community grows and grows and grows. And that is what we're providing. When they all meet each other in this program, they all come from different walks of life, South Side, East Side, they all over the county, right? Mm-hmm. And when they come in, it's funny because always the first day is always like, everybody's kind of quiet, kind of looking around, they're just writing stuff down. And then 2 weeks later, you see them hanging out at the mall together. You see them coming up with brands. This group is starting a brand together. And you see the bond and the love, and you can see the happiness in them. Like, I found my people. And when we bring people from LA, New York, this is how I know we're on the right track. We bring experts from all over the country to Columbus and to Franklin County to be a part of our programming. We just had some of the biggest names in fashion design. We're just here on Friday. We got another guy from New York. We got people from Gucci coming to Friday. And what we hear over and over again
People from Gucci coming on Friday?
Oh, yeah. Not this Friday, next Friday. I'll make sure I invite you, bro.
I need to see the people from Gucci,
Dapper Dance people, too. Dapper Dance people's coming next Friday, so you might want to be there for that. Yeah, you might be there for that.
Gucci coming to Clum. Some Gucci representatives.
And Versace. Yeah. That's the thing. But that's the thing, Ken.
All them designers, my people.
We got the connects here, though.
Yeah, them my people.
We got the connects here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that is the type of vibe we bring in. But
I'm trying to get a contract to like sample gear or something. I don't know.
yeah, I feel you on that.
I just want to sample gear. I just want to be their test case.
You know, Kimberly
the 50
Blackwell.
and over group.
Shout out to Kimberly Blackwell. You know Kimberly Blackwell?
Yeah.
If you ever see her, she's always laced in Gucci, Fendi, all of that, man. She's killing it. I feel like she's got that connect, man. So we need to tap in with her.
Yeah, they holding down that corner at Easton. Doing well.
They are. But yeah, that's what we got. You know, we have that here, and I'm excited about that.
How does your work blend with the CFA and Warhol and Wall Street? One is marketing, one is creativity, one is building brands, and the other is more of the whole, you know, this kind of brick and mortar scene with showing and selling the retail
programming. Yeah. Well, you know, we started Warhol on Wall Street 14 years ago. And Warhol on Wall Street is a branding, you know, agency. We specialize in, first thing, strategy, brand building, storytelling, and experiences. So we've been doing that for all these years and working with, you know, organizations like Franklin County on some projects, all the way to working with like Mountain Dew at All-Star Weekend, you know. And over the years, just honing that skill of strategy, brand development, storytelling, and experiences, all of that prepared me for where I'm at today. Because when I took this initiative on and started the Fashion Alliance, I understood all of those things that I learned through working with many different brands and creatives through Warhol and Wall Street. And so that is what we bring to this initiative, is that I look at it almost like a client. Like, this is the biggest client I've ever had, and it's the city and the county as our client, and we look at it as, how do we help this client live their full potential? How do we help them improve this brand? How do we help it create opportunities for others? So that's the approach that I bring to it. I bring that strategic approach to it, and I think that's what's helping us gain as much traction as we're doing. So they kind of help each other out. Very symbiotic, for sure.
Yeah. We're coming. Man, we could chat on this stuff all day, but we're coming to the end. I got a question that's kind of a weird question, but when you mentioned Swaco, and I know your initiative with Swaco was around recycling the material, the excess material.
Yes.
Because there's a new wave, I know, but it's not wide yet, of machinery and technology to reduce the number of the amount of waste associated with the production of garments.
Yes.
But in the meantime, you know, I think back to the great grandmothers, and they carrying this craft on to future generations. Little to my knowledge, still in the South in certain areas, and that's quilt making.
Yeah.
I mean, they could, these quilt makers, man, the skill from just scrap clothes, you know, because they just didn't throw anything away back then. No. They would just take the scrap clothes that had been worn out and just create works of art.
Yeah. And
I was on a recent civil rights tour, and I saw the quilts that, there's a quilt making club that's associated with a church. I was in Selma, Alabama, and I was just blown away.
What they was creating?
What they was creating.
Wow.
And they were creating quilts. They were creating the bags that you can put the plastic bags in when you go from the grocery store. And all. I mean, I was blown away. And I was like, this is the resourcefulness. This is the creativity.
Facts.
That came all the way from, you know, being, you know, impoverished in the Deep South, coming out of slavery, making the most out of every resource that was available to them.
Very scrappy. You're right about that. And you know what's funny is that I'm super glad you said that. There's two things I thought about that. One, from an economic development standpoint, the project that we did with Swaco was to start understanding how much waste we create in the county. So like, if we are the third largest fashion industry and our specialty is specialty retail, you got to imagine we're creating thousands and thousands of garments out of this county. It's thousands. And so we know that we're just as part of the waste as we are, you know what I mean, in the industry. And so understanding that, we think there's a huge opportunity in Franklin County to become a leader in sustainability, because there's new companies, like you said, who are finding new ways of, you know, reimagining what to do with this textile waste, finding ways to repurpose cotton, finding ways to like take polyester out. And there's all types of new things that are going to revolutionize it. And I think what we could do in Franklin County is create jobs by attracting those companies here. And because we already have the logistics and we have the brands here. So that's one. And then on the flip side of that is that it's very cool now to rework items. They call it upcycling. They call it reworking. Some of the biggest names in LA and New York are just doing that. They're taking old pieces of garments, old jeans, old denim, old cotton, and they're creating masterpieces out of it and selling it in some of the biggest stores in the country. So it's good that it's cool again. You know what I'm saying? It's cool again. And we got to connect those dots of where it comes from and why it's still relevant now. But I think Franklin County has a huge opportunity to lead in that space. Yeah.
And where do you see Columbus in fashion 20 years from now?
20 years from now, I know it for a fact. 20 years from now, Columbus will be recognized as the fashion capital of the Midwest. It will become even higher. I think we're the number 5 top industry in the county, but I think it will increase. We will start to become the hub for where the next generation is incubated. I think we're going to be the home for direct-to-consumer brands. If you're not a brand who's thinking of being a brick and mortar first and you're going to be selling online, I think we're going to be the home for emerging entrepreneurs in that space. And I think we're going to have a whole new economy based on fashion that will touch all of our communities in Columbus, whether it's underserved communities, scientific communities, sustainability. Columbus is going to be a huge factor in this industry. And I think the industry needs it and the industry is looking for it. So I think it's going to be very refreshing when people come back 20 years from now and Columbus is a force in this industry.
Well, you want to leak out. What's next from the past that will come back? I never thought the mesh back baseball cap would come back.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was ugly at the time,
Yeah.
but that was all I had to buy. So with the foam fronts.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's like standard nowadays. That's like standard. You know what's coming?
I thought when the fitted hat came out, I'm like, that
they
won't
was done.
be back no
No,
more. They
back.
forever.
Nothing goes away, Ken. Nothing goes away except hammer pants, bro. That's one thing I don't think is coming back.
Never come back.
MC Hammer Pants ain't coming back, bro. Now, look, I hope I ain't.
The late great. I'm gonna ask you another question. In honor of the late great Michael Jackson, will Beat It jackets come back?
Bro, I believe a Beat It jacket wave. We can start that right now, Ken. Let's get some, bro. Let's get some Beat It jackets.
I'm picturing the video in my head, and I'm thinking, well, Beat It jackets.
Hands down, Beat It jackets
with
will
all
always
zippers and that.
Beat It jackets will always win. It's Michael Jackson.
Didn't nobody have no leather Beat It jacket?
Nah.
I ain't know nobody with no leather Beat It jacket.
If you had a leather Beat It jacket, you had some money.
Yeah, I ain't know nobody with no leather.
You had some money.
The pleather Beat It jacket.
That peeled after a while.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then don't use the zippers because they might not go back up.
Come back up, right.
Them the Beat It jackets I remember. But you right, I mean, I hope, worse than them hammer pants was them zebra pants. Will them come back? That the athletes were wearing them zebra stripes of different colors.
Yeah. What was they called?
Like The Rock would wear them. And,
man, what was them called? Yeah, I don't think so. There's certain things I don't think is coming back, man, because that was a while. That was like what, 80s, 90s? I forgot what that was called.
Between 84 and 86, 87.
That was a unique time. See, that was around the same time Hammer Pants was out. So I feel like there's just a gap in our history that's not coming back. And I think those pants is a part of it. Those and Hammer Pants is a part of that.
And no one will ever see me in bicycle shorts again. And I wore in the 80s. I don't even want to see no pictures of me with bicycle shorts on, but I know I had some. I remember it.
What was we
vividly.
doing? What was we doing, man?
I don't know what I was doing.
You had the biker,
I should not have followed that trend.
With the big stripe color on the side of it, you know what I'm saying?
I had some Nike ones. Yeah, I thought I was the man.
Man. Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't even have a bike. I was getting in a car with them on.
Man.
I didn't even ride bikes no more.
Yeah, man. I remember we had a, you know, when you would take your high school field trip to the amusement park and stuff, and I wore my first pair of biker shorts on that trip, bro. And I was so mad at myself. I was like, what am I doing?
Oh my God! Them bicycle shorts. I have never, ever. I don't think
that's coming back for guys.
Yeah,
man.
I ain't doing it.
So.
I would never do it again. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't really.
I mean, half of us at this age, I ain't wearing no.
Somebody should have told me take them off. Somebody should have told me take them off. All right, talk of the county. This has been fun.
Oh man, listen. Before we go. We got a little photo shoot to do. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. I want to get you something real quick.
This has been fun.
Hold on 1 second. My man, limited edition. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
limited
yeah.
edition. Let me come over here and bring it to you.
I can wear this. This is timeless.
Come on with it. Lace you up real quick. First, I'm going to show the back of it. You know what I'm saying? It got the Rosie the Riveter, you know. It got your name on the front. You know what I'm saying? A 1 of 1. Here you go, my man. Of course, bro. Come on. There you go. Look at that. Oh, it's looking good on you, too. This is slim. Yeah, slimming. I love it.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
That's what's up right there.
Let me see look at that back.
All right. The back that's the centerpiece.
Yeah.
Let's turn around. All right. Talk of the county.
First of all, thank you for having me on the show. Thank you for coming by Gallery. Thank you for being such a great partner. I always want to give a shout out to Franklin County. You guys have been a blessing to the county, been a blessing to the people. And thank you for trusting us to help be a part of that. So I appreciate that. And what we are looking forward to is there's a big move coming up with Clum's Fashion Alliance. We're actually about to launch phase 2, which is we want to build the first Fashion Innovation Center. So we're looking at purchasing a building from the Columbus College of Art and Design. And that is a 43,000 square foot innovation center that is going to be a hub for retail, community, youth, everybody to find their path. And that's that asset that I think we need in this county to help catalyze us and get us into that next phase. And so we're really excited about that. We're hoping that's all going to come online in 2025. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for the opportunity to shout it out.
This is great stuff. Definitely check out this studio. It is definitely
stop by Gallery.
Stop by the Gallery.
Yes, in the Short North.
In the heart of the Short North.
1241 North High Street. Yes, come check it out.
All things happen. So proud that under the leadership of the Franklin County Commissioners, we're able to be a major part of this whole program. And we are going to wrap this episode up with my parting words. Do you, because no one else has time to.